Hey, what's good, yo? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing what the Texans should do with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, seeing that the draft is coming up very close in a month. The draft is on April 29th. So, what should the Texans do? I mean, should they trade him? Should they let him? Should they not trade him? What do y'all think?
I think it's time finally to trade Deshaun Watson. Um, the situation going on with him is very, very bad. He's got legal issues. He's got issues with the owner. He's got issues with Jack Easterby. He doesn't want to be here. But otherwise, without Deshaun Watson on this team I feel like wouldn't be too horrible. They would be more together, lots more team chemistry. They would be able to build a roster with tons of draft picks, tons of players that fit their scheme, tons of players that want to be here. They can build a team. Nick Caesar has been given 5 years in Houston to win a Super Bowl, along with David Coley. But I don't expect him to be here for 5 years, but we'll see what happens with him. Nick Caesar has been given 5 years to build a team, take him to the Super Bowl, and we'll trade Deshaun Watson. I would trade him to the Dolphins for 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a third for Xavier Howard and Tua Tagovailoa. Is personally what I would do, and it would help us build the team that we finally have been wanting in Houston.
Personally, I would not trade Deshaun Watson because he's still 25, I think, and he's not even in his prime yet, and he's already a top 3 quarterback. I don't see any trade, whether it's 4 first, 5 first, 3 first, with Tua, without Tua, with Christian Wilkins, without Christian Wilkins, whatever it is. I don't really see much of any trade that's really worth that kind of player. He's a generational type of player. The only way I trade him is if he 100% just won't show up, if he doesn't play at all. But if there's still a chance he plays, which has been rumored around Houston, I would keep him.
Personally, I see both sides. I see the upsides and downsides of both keeping him or trading him. I feel like the allegations should not have reduced his potential trade value too much, because when's the last time you have a top 3 quarterback in the NFL on the trade market, so there's definitely going to be interest from around the league, and there's only a certain amount of teams that do have that draft capital to acquire Deshaun Watson. There are some dark horse teams that we could discuss later in the video, but I personally, I feel like trading him, the pros are there's we have a lot of spots on the roster that still need talent. We signed a bunch of guys in free agency, but most of them are on 1-year contracts, so they kind of seem like stopgaps, temporary replacements until we actually find a actual player to fill that need, So I feel like trading Deshaun Watson, getting so many draft picks, it could set us up to build a dynasty over the years. Obviously, you need a good quarterback to make it to the playoffs and go far in the playoffs and whatnot, but you also need a team around that guy, and we shown that we had no talent around Deshaun Watson to give him the good situation for him to fully thrive. He played well statistically, but the team did not do well. And so, if we did trade Deshaun Watson, we'd have a lot of draft picks to have a team in a great situation, so that when we do get a quarterback again, hopefully that wouldn't take too long. But then we'd be in a great position to go far, But then also keeping him, like you said, it takes for many drafts to get a franchise QB in Deshaun Watson. We've been through quarterback hell for I don't know how long, for the entire history of the Texans franchise. The only other guy that comes second is Matt Schaub, I guess, but he's Deshaun Watson's far and way better than Matt Schaub, obviously. But we don't want to go into that kind of QB hell in a sense. So I see both sides, but if whatever happens, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you said, the roster right now is pretty bad. This team went 4-12 last year with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Can you just think about how bad that team would have been without Deshaun Watson? I can guarantee you They would not be in the Jaguars. They would not be in the Patriots. They would not be in the Jaguars a second time. They wouldn't have won any of those games at all. And I think I'm forgetting the other team that we beat, but still, I think they would have been 0-16. They wouldn't have had the first round pick like they have now. They would have had the first pick in the draft with a horrible team. The team needs to be revamped, and training Deshaun Watson helps that. I mean, he's not happy right now, and I hear what you're saying when you say that he's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, and it's really hard to find that, but I feel like if you build a team that's built around defense, a team that is together, plays together, and I don't necessarily think we're going to be in quarterback hell for the next 20 years like the Browns have been. We can find a solid quarterback to build around this team and make it into a dynasty, like you said. And I feel like it could be really successful having a team like that without Deshaun Watson, even though he is a great player. But he is under allegations and stuff, other things like that need to be worked out. So the team, I feel like, would be in a better place with that move.
I feel like if we did trade Deshaun Watson and try to build the team around the defense, we would probably be in a similar situation to maybe the 49ers. They had a very good team with the subpar or average quarterback with Jimmy G. And then going back to our 2017 team, we were built around the defense. We had a average to below average quarterback with Brock Osweiler, and look what happened. Sure, we made the playoffs, but I mean, I think we got blown out by the Patriots. Not blown out, but we lost by a pretty big score. So I mean, sure, we could build around the defense. Sure, we could have multiple positions filled up really nice, running back, receiver, but you need a quarterback. Look at the past teams that have won the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, one of the top quarterbacks. Tom Brady, one of the top quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, one of the top quarterbacks. Most of these teams that have won the Super Bowl recently in the past 10, 15 years have at least had a above average top, 15-ish quarterback at the time. So, I mean, I feel like we need a quarterback. You can't just go in building around a defense or whatever, because again, it can be in the 49ers situation.
Well, I mean, if you look at the way the Buccaneers played at the end of the season this year, you wouldn't necessarily give all the credit to Tom Brady. That defense was very, very scary. They had their entire linebacking core filled out from edge to inside. They got corners. They had probably arguably 3 top 20 corners on their entire roster. Their safeties played exceptional the entire year. The defensive line got sacks all year. And Tom Brady just did what he had to do to win. So I see a similar situation with any quarterback that's average to above average. And who knows what the Texans will even do with the picks they get with Deshaun Watson. Do they get Tua? Do they get Justin Fields? Justin Fields, he actually has a lot of talent. He could be available at 6, and he could turn into a Deshaun Watson caliber player. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Deshaun Watson, but that would be an elite quarterback with an elite team around him.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
Yeah, the thing is, it hasn't been reported that Nick Caserio picked up the calls from other teams yet. It's still so it seems like the Texans have not really actually considered actually trading Deshaun Watson. Who knows if they're still permanently not permanently, sorry, that's the wrong word, but they're kind of in that position for the time being. And who knows if Deshaun Watson, if on the off chance he does change his mind, I feel like he could play for us, maybe to show other teams that he's still worth trading for in a sense. And also part of me wonders all these players in these press conferences that have come out saying that they love David Culley, the type of energy he brings and things like that. Kind of wonders what happened during that meeting with Deshaun Watson and David Culley. What was it just that relations or relations with the Texans for Deshaun Watson were just burned beyond repair? Was it that, or I don't know. Deshaun Watson has never worked with David Culley in the past. I feel like you should give him a chance.
Yeah, I feel like at one point the relations were burned out of repair. But I mean, after a while, Deshaun's going to have to realize the Houston Texans aren't going to want to trade him, no matter how mad he is or no matter how much he says he's not going to play. The Houston holds all their leverage here. So, I mean, he's either going to play, retire, or just never play again or whatever. So I think at one point, as I said, they were beyond repair. But I feel like as of right now, maybe Deshaun would want to somewhat repair. Maybe he doesn't want to, but he's going to be forced to have to repair if he wants to play football again, or if he even wants to trade. Who knows? Maybe Houston doesn't want to trade him just because of the relationship they're in. Maybe if Deshaun at least starts talking a little bit or whatever, maybe Houston trades him or something like that. But I feel like there's still a chance he could come back. Obviously.
Yeah, like in a best case scenario, I would say that the Texans talk to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson reaches out to the Texans. And they kind of fix things. They kind of have a talk about their vision for the future of the team. Cal McNair, Jack Eastry, they talk to Deshaun Watson and apologize for everything they did wrong. Promise that they'll treat him better and listen more to Deshaun after, Deshaun was basically promised to be included in the head coaching search, included in the general manager search. And it turns out Deshaun Watson actually found out about Nick Caserio being hired through Twitter. He had no idea this was going to happen. He was shocked, and all the drama happened on Twitter with him tweeting out the future lyrics and stuff like that. And everything kind of just went off in front of us. And now Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be a Houston Texan, but ideally, we would all hope that the relationship would be patched and we could build this team around Deshaun Watson, the player we all love, we enjoyed watching. We would hate to lose a guy like him, and I would love to see him play for the rest of this season.
Yeah, we talked about whether or not we should trade Deshaun, but we should also talk about when should we trade Deshaun if we do decide to trade him. Because post June 1st, which is after the draft, there's a less salary cap hit, But I know Nick Caserio has been really doing a great job at restructuring those contracts and whatnot. And by trading Deshaun, this team probably won't do very well. And we have our own pick next season in the first round. So it's a very good chance that we end up in the top 1 to 3 range overall of picks where we can choose from the quarterback class there, who is not as great, I would say, compared to this year's draft class, but there's still some solid prospects out there. So what do you think about when we should trade him if we do decide to?
So ideally we would trade him on draft day, a little bit before draft day of this year. That way I feel like teams have good packages. Dolphins got good packages. The Jets got good packages. Teams can make more packages to get them. But next year really is only like the Dolphins and the Lions seem to have the best packages for Deshaun Watson. If they want to make a run for him at the trade deadline in 2022 or just in the offseason post June and make a run for him. But there would be limited options. Wouldn't be as good of a trade as you're hoping for. I think the best time to trade him would be before the draft to get exactly what you want and get the best offer for him.
Yeah, the best time to trade him would be before the draft or on the draft, like Andrew said. For that being is because this year Miami have the 6th pick, and next year they most likely won't have the 6th pick or anything higher than that. They're probably going to be like in the 20s, maybe early 30s if they're that good. And this year you're guaranteed the 6th pick if you trade him. So, I would take that 6th pick over than trading him next year, waiting a year just for the salary cap. I feel like the 6th pick would be worth taking on that extra cap hit, in my opinion, rather than having the 20th pick or whatever it is.
Yeah, there is a good chance that the first 4 picks in this draft could be all QBs, Trevor Lawrence obviously predicted to go first. Zach Wilson, most people say, is number 2. Then there's a debate on who's quarterback number 3. Most people say Justin Fields, and then that's possible. The 49ers could definitely take a quarterback at 3, and then you have the Falcons at 4, who have a kind of have Matt Ryan, who has been rumored to. It's been rumored that the Falcons were looking to trade Matt Ryan, but then they weren't. But he is kind of getting on the older side, so they could get some guy who has high potential like Trey Lance. And so getting the 6th pick, then you have not many great quarterback options left. You have Mac Jones, you have Kellen Mond. I don't know how high the Texans are on them, but I don't know. But obviously I like what Nick Caserio is doing. He's waiting patiently for people to get desperate and to kind of put in all their chips into a pile and then send it over to the Texans. And I think that's the best idea, trading him on draft day, like you said. And so what are some teams that you like, dark horse teams? Or I know y'all already mentioned Miami, but who, like, which team would you want to see Deshaun Watson go to, and like you would kind of think that we get a good return back?
Two teams that aren't in necessarily the top 5 picks would be the Panthers and Broncos. I feel like those teams, they can offer 2 first-round picks. They can offer you their 2 best players on the roster. It's like Christian McCaffrey, Brian Burns. And the Broncos, you got Justin Simmons and Bradley Chubb. I feel like those are good options, kind of dark horse teams. Also, the Bears are rumored to offer like an entire draft or 2 at the Texans, so we'll see if they end up doing that. But otherwise, the Texans, without trading Deshaun Watson, they could possibly move up in the draft, could possibly move down in the draft, maybe to pick 80, kind of get more picks and load for next season. And we'll see what happens with Deshaun Watson too. But the Panthers and Broncos would be teams to look out for. And the other teams would be the 49ers, Dolphins, and Jets.
For a dark horse team, I could see potentially maybe the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe to give up, 3 first, maybe Deion Jones, maybe possibly Calvin Ridley. I'm not sure if they would want to give him up since they're going to get Deshaun Watson, but I mean, potentially maybe him or someone like that. Maybe Grady Jarrett. So like 3 first, Deion Jones and Grady Jarrett or something like that. Or then also, similar to what Andrew said, the Denver Broncos, I could see maybe 3 first and then maybe like, who else? Bradley Chubb, and then maybe Cortland Sutton for the wide receiver. But other than that, I really don't see too many other teams. Maybe the Oakland Raiders, but I don't think they have enough. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that the 49ers could be a sneaky team. Like, they could trade Bosa, some first, some seconds. I think it could be good, but I don't see why they would have traded all the way to number 3 just to get Deshaun Watson. But yeah, we'll have to see about that. But that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know your thoughts on this whole situation. What should the Texans do? And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.